Well, good morning, everyone. Your Holiness, Your Beatitude, Your Eminences, colleagues from the European Parliament, visitors to the Parliament here, ambassadors, reverends, ladies and gentlemen. I think I want to, of course, thank Lars for the invitation to be with you. It really is a great pleasure to be here this morning. And before I begin my formal opening remarks, I always judge how things might be by the atmosphere in the room, and I have to say this morning the atmosphere is really positive, and we have made connections already with my home country Ireland, and I wish you all well today as you begin your discussions. As I say, it gives me great pleasure to formally and officially open this important conference on the future of Christians in Iraq, and of course to welcome you here to our Parliament, the European Parliament. I know that the organisers had hoped that President Tajani could be here this morning, but unfortunately he has other duties. But as you know, he has a long commitment, President Tajani, to raising awareness in Europe of the plight of Christians in the Middle East. And earlier this year, the President appointed me as the Vice President responsible for conducting Parliament's dialogue with religions, a dialogue to which he remains firmly committed and to which I attach huge importance. So it is in that capacity that I was really pleased to accept the invitation to address you with some words, I hope, of welcome and also encouragement. I was going to say wisdom, but perhaps that might be too much, but maybe a little wisdom. I think the fact that so many of you have travelled to Brussels from Iraq and other places is already a good encouragement that things could happen. That this important issue is finally getting the kind of attention it deserves in Europe is also encouraging. Indeed, Mr. Adaktusson and our fellow MEP colleagues who've organised this event and brought so many different voices together have in their own way contributed to raising awareness of the issue. The Parliament, as you know, has few formal powers in foreign policy. Nonetheless, we know we can still contribute to finding solutions to some of the world's problems, starting by providing a forum where people can come together to discuss in a neutral environment. One area in which we have invested a lot of energy and political capital is in promoting worldwide religious freedom. Parliament's efforts are made in close cooperation with the European Commission and the EU's External Action Service. Each of our EU institutions has a particular role to play. I am aware that there are a number of US State Department participants in today's conference, and this is welcome. It is my firm belief that when the European Union and the United States work closely together to promote the same foreign policy goals, much can be achieved. This is particularly important when it comes to putting into practice our common values, our shared commitment to democracy, to the rule of law and individual human rights. During his recent visit to Brussels, the US President made it clear that America expects Europe to be an equal partner in defending and promoting our values. So in future, the European Union may be called upon to step up its peace-building and human rights activity and to give global leadership on issues such as religious freedom. And in my view, we should be ready to respond. It is my sincere hope that this conference will be an example of such a contribution that we in the European Union can make, starting by providing the space in every sense to facilitate your discussions. In the end, as I witnessed myself in the 30 years of conflict in Northern Ireland, outsiders can support, encourage and facilitate, but it is the communities on the ground that need to come up with their own solutions. But I saw too how in Northern Ireland, and I do not at all compare the situation in Iraq in terms of the scale of the devastation and the suffering you are experiencing, but the support of fair-minded outsiders, if you like, helped a lot. In our case, I believe that a sustainable peace and reconciliation would not have been possible without the strong support of our peace process from the European Union and the United States. And even this morning, as I speak to you, there were late-night talks on the formation of a new assembly in Northern Ireland. So though we have had a peace process now for some time and we have peace, there is still a long way to go to building relationships between communities. But we have made progress, wonderful progress, since my childhood. Ladies and gentlemen, the organisers of this event have brought together religious and political leaders, civil society organisations, writers, diplomats and human rights activists. Each of you has your own specific contribution to make to today's proceedings. No doubt there are many more individuals, groups and organisations in Iraq and among the Iraqi Christian diaspora who are also working to find solutions for all. One of the sessions this afternoon is called An Iraq for All. I sincerely hope that such a spirit will permeate the discussions and reflections over the next 2 days. It is only through recognising and respecting the dignity of each group, and indeed of each person, that confidence between communities can be built and sustained. But it is a lengthy process, as you will know. So I wish all of the participants well in your deliberations, and I hope that your time here at the European Parliament will be put to good use. I hope that we Europeans can make our small contribution to helping you move towards peace and reconciliation and rebuilding your country. I wish you well. Good morning.